Hey y'all, I'm super excited to share today my 10 most memorable moments of the last 10 years. And I should just caveat and say, I am sure I forgot something big. I have asked my family and friends to help me remember things, and they will tell me things. I'm like, I totally forgot about that. So, anyway, it's been a very humbling thing to look back over the last 10 years since I first shared the prayer journal. So, I wanted to share some highlights with you guys, and I hope it's fun to hear just a little bit of the behind the scenes that maybe I didn't get to share with you guys as it was happening. But I'm going to start with number one. I'm going to go in chronological order as best I can. And the first one is actually before the 10 years, because technically, although our anniversary for the prayer journals is 10 years, it has actually been 11 years since I started Valmarie Paper. And if you don't know, I actually started a wedding planning business after working at my local newspaper. And from there, went into wedding invitations. So whenever I sold my wedding planning business, I actually decided to do just wedding invitations, and that was going to be Valmarie Paper. And we actually had a hurricane launch party. It wasn't supposed to be a hurricane launch party, but we actually planned it for September 30th, 2012. Sorry, I should know that. I have my notes, but August 30th, 2012. And my birthday is actually August 28th. It has been visited by many hurricanes. My 21st birthday was the night before Katrina. And this was no different. We had a hurricane, I think it was Isaac, happen on my birthday that year. And I just remember crying into my Buffalo Wild Wings takeout with my husband that night. We were able to grab food before the town shut down. I just remember crying because I had this party planned to launch this new business 2 days later. And obviously we had to postpone it a few days. It ended up being a little bit smaller than we had hoped just because we had to tell everybody, hey, it's not the day we sent out invitations for, it's later. But it was a really sweet celebration and a very soggy start to Valmarie Paper. But honestly, just a really good reminder that our plans are not necessarily God's plans. And my plan was to go in, do some wedding invitations, maybe some baby announcements, and have that be my business as Tyler and I decided to start trying to have trying for a family. But anyway, God's plan was much different. And so that was the official start of Valmarie Paper. Okay, second most memorable moment, September 2013. We did, so that summer I had designed the prayer journal, honestly, the one that I knew I needed for myself. My printer said, we need to make 50 of these to actually make you the one. So I needed to share them. I shared them with my audience with just some photos from my phone. And if you guys know me, y'all know I care a lot about aesthetic, a beauty of things. I want it to look as good as it is intentional. And so I did a photo shoot with my friend who was a wedding photographer. And we took photos of these journals. I think I was either a week or two out from delivery for Vivi. So I was 38, 39 weeks pregnant in the hot sun. And September, you would think would be cooler temps, but in Louisiana, it is still very, very hot. It was a short shoot. It was outside, and it is honestly a sweet reminder to me of just how excited and passionate I was about prayer even then. I should have been preparing for becoming a mom, but I was so excited to do this. And not because I thought it would be a business, but because I truly just loved the idea of sharing this with other people, and loved that after that initial sharing of the photos, Instagram photos, not Instagram, but just from my phone, it seemed like people may be interested in this, and I was just excited to share that with them. So that was number two. Okay, number three. So in 2016, August, I debuted our spiral journals, and this was the first time we had gone beyond our simple moleskin format, which is really great and small to take with you anywhere. But this was, I'm looking around because I have one right here. This was just really exciting to get to create something that I had never done before, something with a nice linen fabric, gold foil, tabs, lots of different things. And it was so fun because this was actually inspired by two friends, one who actually went on to work for me for 4 years, who just wanted more. They wanted something that would be almost like a keepsake, something that would last. And I was thrilled to get to figure out how to design it. And they were a big hit with our audience. So they've continued. That has become our best sellers. And it was a way for us to also help you on your journey as you start out. So if you are just beginning and you're wanting to focus your prayers, like starting with the prompt section and our composed journal is amazing. But this gave an opportunity for people to start writing out prayers every couple of weeks. And then eventually with our signature, you can write out prayers every day. So it was like this big milestone of, okay, we're doing this. We're not just talking about like wanting to remember your prayer requests, but like, how do we go beyond that? And it has been exciting to keep going with that. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, going to Magnolia for the first time in 2018 in the spring. We were invited to go to the Spring at the Silos event, and we had a booth there. If you guys know, twice a year they have 40 to 50, I think at one point it might have even been up to 75 vendors that line the streets outside of Magnolia. And they have 40 to 50,000 people that go to this event over the week. And it is a really cool experience. It's a really intense experience because we go for almost a week. So all of us moms, like that was the longest that I had been away from my kids. We go, we spend a day setting up, we have 3 days where people come to shop, and it was a really sweet time. We got to see so many people that have been using our prayer journals and knew about us. And it was great to put Instagram names with people. And it was also great to meet so many new people, and we'd share our format with one friend and then they'd explain it to their other friend who just walked up. And it was just really cool to get to bring prayer into a just secular market. And we know the family is very supportive of faith. And so it's not a big stretch, but it was really cool to basically have a booth that was a prayer room. We got to pray with lots of people. We had a wall where you can share prayer requests. And there was one mom in particular who had recently lost her husband to a drug overdose and had 4 or 5 kids. And it was heartbreaking. But I was so grateful that she came to our booth. She left that prayer request and we got to pray with her. And she has stayed with me for years since that moment. But this was a really, really sweet time where we got to probably for the first time connect with our audience in person, hug people that we had met through screens, and it was just a really sweet experience. Okay, so that's number 4. Okay, number 5, we got to create a magazine in the fall of 2018. I could call it a magazine. We called it a catalog then, but we had obviously our products in there, but we also got to put content. And the reason that this was really memorable for me is that I went to school for journalism, and I really thought that I was going to one day go to New York City and work for a fancy magazine. And I actually did an internship at like a style magazine in Philadelphia in college. And I was just like, this is not for me. I want to talk about different things than, I think it was like fit of pants and parties and different things like that. So getting to create a magazine, design it, lay it out, and, I love coming up with headlines. I love, just doing those creative things. That was such a sweet memory that I had from college, and then the good parts of the magazine experience that I had. And it was just one of those full circle moments that I had many of over the years. But it was just a really sweet reminder of how God could use what I wanted to do, maybe in the beginning, how he can use it for his kingdom. So that is a really special moment. We went on to do a newspaper the following year because we realized we're more newspaper girls. And if you see our brand now, you know that is true. We love just like nerdy content and things that are going to help you. So a little less glossy and a little bit more natural, but we hope to do a newspaper again in the future. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6, in 2019, we got to do a fundraiser for the Bridge, which was one of the charities that we were donating to at the time. And it was a school for underprivileged kids that it was a Christian education. And it was honestly very similar to the school that my girls go to, just because of their teaching methods. So it was really cool that this was being offered to kids who couldn't afford that private education. I don't even remember where the idea came from, but I think at one point it was just kind of like, what if we bought gifts for these kids? And I shared it online and you guys responded. I made a wish list and I think you guys bought everything off so quick. I just kept adding. And it was a really cool, just a cool time in my life. If I could say, personally, it was one of the most joyful seasons of my life. And I feel like it was just a big reminder that God was telling me that serving other people and pouring into others will bring you joy. And, like obviously we want to do it for the pure service of things, but the Lord is so gracious that as we serve others, He does bring us joy. And so I remember loving every day I'd come home to Amazon packages. We wrapped all the presents with a bunch of friends and we got to deliver them to them. And it is still one of my favorite things. As I was standing in that room, like they were so grateful and the teachers were grateful. And I just remember thinking like, I can't do this on my own. I couldn't have done all of this. This is all the community that we have built. And it is very humbling to get to be the one to write the check or give the gifts, knowing that so many people made this happen. So I'm super grateful to you guys. To date, we've been able to donate over $500,000 to charities. And that is something that I obviously cannot do on my own. So I'm humbled that I am the one who gets to partner directly and say, hey, here's what we have for you this month. We want to support you in what you're doing. Let us know what else we need to do. And it's been, anyway, just super good reminder. So I think that's number 6. Okay, number 7, becoming a traditionally published author. So when Grumpy Mom came out in April 2019, this was a dream come true for me. I actually knew I wanted to be a writer from a very early age, but did not want to write a book. I thought books, that was like a lot of words on one subject. And I really liked the variety of writing columns and different things like that. So when my husband mentioned an idea for a book of like, okay, break it down into the chapters and those can be, anyway, he kind of like just broke it down to me. I ended up writing the finishing school. And this was another one of those moments where I was like on fire. I wrote it in 6 weeks and my books after that took months and months. But I was just so like, the ideas were just flowing. So I ended up writing the finishing school and publishing it myself. And then we had a publisher come and ask about working together. And I don't remember if I had a book idea at the time or if the Lord had just given me the idea for Grumpy Mom. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. But that idea came either right after or right before. And I was super excited to get to partner with Tyndale for Grumpy Mom and my subsequent books of Fresh Start for Moms and Pray Confidently and Consistently. But one cool moment within that was that the January before it was published, so January 2019, my husband and I decided to go surprise our publishers. They are in Chicago and it was freezing cold. It was -20 when we were there. The wind chill was. And it was the coolest experience to get to experience the city like that because it was pretty wide open for us. But we got to surprise my publisher, Kara, and the rest of the team. But some people on the team knew, and we just surprised Kara, and we have a video of it. And it just still makes me laugh to this day because it was so fun to finally get to meet the person who had put so much trust in me and had found me in a way, like just found me and supported me. I have never felt so supported by a team. And I'm super grateful for them and all that they have done for my books. So that's number 7. Okay, number 8. August 2021, we had our we had our pre-orders like we do every year for our big spirals. And I wanted our team to be together, just experiencing the launch together. And Kara, somebody who had been my right-hand gal for several years, we had her come in from Abilene, and I remember telling the team that I get caught up in the numbers sometimes, and it can be overwhelming to just be like focused on the sales. Like, how are we doing? What's the numbers? And so I told them, I said, I don't want to look at the numbers until lunchtime. And I really wanted to just focus on every story, every person that I got to talk to. And it really is so sweet getting to hear directly from you guys. So anyway, I went in. We decided to go to Chewy's, which was one of my favorite restaurants, and Kara's too. And Kara didn't have one in Abilene. So we're like, we got to go to Chewy's. This is our like celebration spot. And I say that because we had gone there for many birthdays and different things. But at lunch, they told me the number, and it was 1,000 journals we had sold in just a few hours. And I just remember like being so overwhelmed because I guess it was crazy because when you keep looking at the numbers over and over again, you can kind of like almost get dull to it. You can get dull to what the Lord is doing. And it was just a really cool experience to just be like, wow, like look at what God has done. And it was super humbling. And I'll just never forget sitting in Chewy's, like just wondering if we were looking at the wrong Shopify, to be honest. So very humbling and a sweet memory, and just getting to be with our team is always a sweet memory too. Okay, number 9, February 2021, I got off Instagram. And guys, this is still a crazy thing. If you've read my blog post about getting off of Instagram, I never thought I would be somebody who could get off of Instagram. It was like, this is not just important for my business, but like, this is too much a part of me. This is too much a part of what I do every day. And I felt very clearly the Lord call me to get off of Instagram. And it was weird because like sometimes, like that's how you sometimes know that it's the Lord, because it was so outside of what I could have done on my own. And I ended up getting off, or deciding to get off, and knowing like, okay, in the next few weeks, I know I'll be getting off. And my mom was actually diagnosed with breast cancer in that time frame. And I just remember so first of all, she's great. They caught it early and performed the surgery and everything. But I just remember being super grateful to like be able to be super focused on my local life. And it was a really good reminder of just how God can overcome our desires, like if he's calling us to do that. And again, just a really good season and something I'm super grateful for. Okay, that was 9. Number 10, getting to read the audio version of Pray Confidently and Consistently. This is special for a few reasons. Number 1, you guys did not like the person that read for Grumpy Mom, and you told us in the reviews. And it's funny because she said Vanna, and I got a kick out of it too. Like, she just sounded much more relaxed than I am. So anyway, I was super adamant about wanting to like read Pray Confidently, especially knowing that like this was my legacy book. This is the book that I feel so like this is the message that I would share with anybody that wanted to talk about prayer. This was it. And so I get to do it. I'm going to go to Nashville to record the audio of the book. And I end up having to get some ovarian cysts removed about 2 weeks before. And I asked my publisher about if it was possible to find a local recording studio to record at instead. And thankfully, we found one. It was actually Dockside Studio, which a lot of famous musicians have played at. So it was a cool experience to get to go there. But I was also really grateful because recovering from the surgery took longer than I thought. And I ended up having this awful sciatica pain. And it had been from the photo shoots the 2 days before for our pre-order collection. Sitting on the floor cross-legged for 8 hours was awful. And I remember driving to the studio, which is literally 10 minutes from my house, driving to the studio with pain running down my leg. Like it just started in the car on the way there. And I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to read without like breathing these heavy, like painful breaths. And we got there. The studio was super gracious and like accommodated me like needing to move chairs around. And like, I think I sat on the floor for the first part, and maybe that's what I did. And I walked in there and I literally sat on the floor while they were talking to me about stuff. My husband came to bring me some Tylenol and a heating pad. And within an hour, it went completely away. And the next day, like I think I still had it a little bit, but it wasn't as debilitating. And it was just crazy because it just felt like such a crazy season of health issues. And I was really glad to get to read the book. It was not as exhausting as I expected. I thought it was going to be super like, how am I going to read this for this long? Like I get tired reading the girls a book at night, but he provided and I was super excited about it. So he sustained me in that. So I was really grateful for that. But that is number 10. And I do have one last one I wanted to add on because that is basically up till 2021. And the last few years have been just a little bit different as far as like me having to focus more on my health and everything. And I have coasted for a bit of it. And this year, the Lord has re-energized my heart for boundary paper. He has told me to go for it, to push forward. And this year we actually we moved our space from a storage unit, from a friend's business where we had a couple of rooms and some warehouse space, to our own office. And we have a big warehouse that is huge and ready for all the journals to come in the next month or two, and 2 offices. And one reason I'm really excited about this is because it has been so fun over the years. Every year when our pre-order journal or our journals come in, all of those that have been pre-ordered, it's usually like several thousand. We try to get out in 2 weeks. And I invite a team of people to come together. And it was, last year was especially sweet. I got to hang out with so many of my sweet friends who were willing to come and serve and help. I am just so grateful for that and definitely looking forward to this year's shipping parties. So that is our top 10 plus 1. And again, it has been really fun to get to relive all these moments. And if you have any that you're like, Valerie, how did you forget this? You shared about this and this is cool. Put them in the comments or email us, whatever. We want to hear about them because this really has truly been the best celebration, the best way I can think to look back over the last 10 years and just see everything that God has done. And I know I feel so lucky. I feel like our brand promise is that prayer changes a moment, a day, a life. And we truly believe that. And because of that, to get to be the ones to share prayer with you and encourage you in this is so humbling. And I'm truly grateful. So thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, just teasing. But we're glad you're here.